Broadcasting to you on WNN 1470 AM and TrentoVision.tv from the world's leading think tank laboratory, buried deep in an undisclosed building in hostile territory where evil and corruption is exposed. You're about to enter the Tom Trento Show.
Okay, here we go. Another bite at the apple right here. Actually, another spin of the globe. I'm holding the globe in my hand. This is our globe from...
He's got the whole world in his hand.
Got the whole wide world in my hand. From January 2011. Go to theunitedwest.org. Down the bottom of the homepage, military salute, January 2011. You'll see why we gave these globes to some of America's most patriotic military veterans and military heroes. Hi, everybody. Tom Trento, WNN 1470 on a beautiful Tuesday, 25 June afternoon. 90 degrees and hot. Oh, man, it's hot and muggy here in Florida. A couple of days ago, I was in Texas, 97 degrees, but a cool 97. It wasn't wet. It was a dry 97, and it was dry. Hey, we deal with conundrums here on TrentoVision.tv, and I got one for you. You ready? Today is the oldest you have ever been. And today, wait a minute.
That's true, Tom.
Wait a minute. Today is the oldest you have ever been and the youngest you'll ever be
again.
So go eat some ice cream, okay? Have a good day. Figure that one out, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, figure that one out.
That's true words.
Isn't it? The oldest you have ever been and the youngest you'll ever be. My, it's time for
and you will die tomorrow.
Eat, drink
and be merry, for tomorrow we diet.
In other words, that's carpe diem, right?
Carpe diem. Carpe diem. What does that mean?
It means seize the day.
Seize the carpet. Put your head on the carpet and seize the carpet. Yes, good stuff. Good to be here on this Tuesday. We love doing the show and bringing you this information, a little bit of entertainment. We call it edutainment.
Edutainment, yes, because we need to add to the lexicon.
Yes, we do.
We want to educate, providing new information or providing information with our twist on it. You see, we've been around the block a few times. CJ's been around the block a few times.
Okay, let's not go back to the age thing, okay?
She's been around the block a few times.
Okay.
Mark.
They were so easy on me yesterday.
When we say CJ's been around the block, she's been around the block.
And I've been around the block a little
Lulled
bit. So,
me into a false sense of security, did you?
We love you, CJ.
And Mark, CJ, myself, the three of us in the studio, we've been to, probably between the three of us, we've been to 20 colleges, I bet you. You know, because Mark, you've been to a whole bunch. I know that.
I've been to like 12 colleges.
12.
Attended the colleges. Actually went there.
Actually attended.
Yes, I did.
How many have you been to? You've been to a few.
No, just one.
Just one? No, I've been to two.
Well,
so
two if you count online.
Well, yeah, that works. If it's
was
it real or was it a
USF?
phony baloney thing?
UW.
What's UW?
University of Washington.
Oh, that's a real
That's
one.
a real school.
You went to US Jihad U.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, we actually found
We
out
were there
worked
together.
That's right.
That's
That's right.
bizarre. You two guys were there together. CJ, were you at Moody Bible Institute with me by any chance?
No, I
Oh, you
wasn't.
weren't there.
No,
Okay.
I did not.
Were you at Tomatoro with me?
No, I wasn't. No,
see?
I wasn't.
Not high in the Unitarian calendar. I wasn't there either, Tom. So,
But we have done the academic thing, and we did pretty good at that little game. And then when you get into life, the books get kind of put aside a little bit because real life is a little different than what the people that write the books say. So we've got our bumps and bruises about life and about death and about reality, all of that. So this show is not a news show. We're not here. You know what drives me crazy? You turn on even Fox, I mean anything, and here they are. And today in Chicago, there was a fire, and the fire burned the building, and we'll be right back. They're reading. All they do is read
the teleprompter.
what the producers write.
They read the news.
They read the news,
Yeah.
and there's a little bit of chit chat here and there, but the shows, the opinion shows, they're more interesting, and that's what we are, folks. We're an opinion show.
What I learned also, that to highlight your point, even people like Bill O'Reilly and Sean Hannity, they don't write their own shows. I was really surprised by that. The person who really writes them are the producers, and they put them up on teleprompter. I mean, they have like a general discussion about it, but the actual physical show, it surprised me when I was there. Everything's telepromptered. Everything.
That's right. Mark was on. Both of you. Yeah, you both went to.
That's
Hannity.
why they look so smart.
Yes,
That's right.
Yes. But you could see when Hannity, when he's reading the teleprompter, but when he gets off prompter for his opinion, he does a pretty good job.
No, but in general, the stories, everything's written by the producers.
When will I be the beneficiary of that? That's what I want to know.
You are every day.
That could be nice.
It's
Somebody
called donation.
writes,
Every
If you
day.
donate to
Writes-
Tom at
donate securely at TrentoVision.tv.
We could
truly,
actually stick to the schedule
that's
of
true.
topics we're supposed to cover if we had a teleprompter keeping us on
That's
track.
right. So
you
this-
want a teleprompter now.
Because we did 1 out of 7 on yesterday's show.
It was such a good one.
Yesterday's script,
But it was
we
a
got through
good one.
thing.
Yeah.
And today's script.
And today we're going to go through
Who
like
knows?
10 things
10
probably.
things, right.
If we ever get started.
Get past one. Right.
But we do want you to follow us on Facebook, United West, Facebook.com/The United West. Go there, like us on Facebook. We are getting involved in very deeply in
It's
social
on your
media.
teleprompter, Tom. You don't need it.
Look at that on my teleprompter. www.facebook/The United West. Go there, like us. We put quite a bit of information up on there. At Twitter, the ampersand at The United West. Follow us on Twitter. Subscribe. Go to theunitedwest.org. And there's a little thing on the top left-hand side, a little button that says subscribe. So we need you to stay in touch and tell your friends. That's how we're growing, from word of mouth. Because we don't have a lot of money to do big marketing. But if you like
If you
what we're
could do
doing,
it for us,
yeah,
that would
right.
be swell.
Send it out to your friends. And our focus is national security. I mean, the jihad business, as we like to say, is booming. Okay, pun intended.
Unfortunately.
So that's our area of expertise. But the world is so interrelated nowadays that significant decisions from the Supreme Court, from SCOTUS, impact culture. And when a culture is dramatically impacted, it impacts the moral fiber of individuals. It impacts the commitment people have to a contract. And when things change so dramatically, we have found, as this country is moving further and further to the left and appeasing the leftists and the Islamic jihadis, fewer and fewer people are really willing to make the kind of commitment necessary to keep this country the way it is. They're all saying, you know, like I said, over the weekend I was in Texas speaking to some folks who live on 3 acres, and they're looking for 100 acres further out in the middle of nowhere. Basically saying, why are we going to screw around with this crazy people in this country?
Right.
We're just going with a bunch of our friends out there. Everybody leave us alone. And in Texas,
And take your chances if you don't.
well, in Texas, you know, you better leave the people alone because they know how to take care of themselves.
They sure do.
So-
But you didn't tell us.
About
Do you wanna
Texas?
tell us a
yeah,
little
yeah,
bit about
yeah.
what
I'll
you
tell you
did?
about that. Yeah. It's actually very cool. What happened? I got invited to an event that flew out, I guess, on Friday. I think it was Friday. And on Saturday, I was at an event in Austin, Texas. Austin is the capital of Texas. I had not really been to Austin. I've been to Texas. Like I told the people when I spoke, I said, good being back in Texas. I've been here thousands of times. I said, I know Houston Intercontinental Airport like nobody knows it. I said, I'd be there for an hour, I'd be out, literally thousands of times probably, through all the years flying through, flew Continental, which is now United, East Coast, West Coast, you go through Houston. But I've been to meetings and such in Texas, but never really spent a lot of time. So when I spoke to this group during a break of our 4-hour program, I'm going to show you the program in a minute, I went to we were in the state capitol.
Yes.
So the presentation was in the Austin State Capitol, which is almost as beautiful as the U.S. Capitol. It's actually taller than the U.S. Capitol.
As it should be. It's in Texas.
It's beautiful.
It should be bigger.
So I went to the gift store.
Yeah.
And I was going to speak right after lunch. And I wanted to identify with my Texan friends, being a Floridian from New Jersey. So I got this, and I wore this on my jacket. I was wearing a jacket. And for the day, and for $4, I became, can you see that, Mark?
I'm zooming in here.
Zoom,
Zoom in.
zoom.
That's all the zoom I got.
That's
That's
all
the
zoom.
zoomiest it gets. You can't really see it, I don't think.
Put it against this thing. I became an honorary,
A little sheriff. Badge.
Texas Ranger, dude.
Texas
cool.
Ranger.
An
And you didn't bring
honorary
$4 and you didn't bring us one?
$4 I
You
became.
cheapskate.
You know what? I should have brought everybody these.
I can't believe that.
Yeah, what's up with that?
What's
Okay,
you know, what's up with
you're gonna have
that?
my
I want to be a
Texas
Texas
Ranger.
Ranger.
Dad goes out of town and he
who doesn't
doesn't
want-
bring the kids back anything.
Oh, no, come
What
on.
is with
It is
that?
pretty cool.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
is.
thanks,
It's
yeah.
actually really
You might
nifty.
lose. I hope you don't lose that, Tom.
Okay, let's see what happens. Let's see if I lose it this way. I told the folks I'm an honorary Texas Ranger. Get out of here. There we go. They loved it. They loved it. I had them eating out of the palm of my hand. So
That's pretty cool. In your
it is pretty. On a black, it was on a dark jacket, so it really looked cool.
And what were you in Texas for?
Okay, I tell you what, Mark, come to my screen over here.
Okay.
Is your
And-
alphabet up yet?
Yeah,
Oh,
I got
good.
it up. All right, it's 12 minutes after 5 o'clock on 25 June, Tuesday, beautiful hot day. Florida, we may have a little rain later on. You may be having some rain now. Who knows where you are?
You could just play that every day at this point.
Tom Trento here, WNN 1470. Be sure to watch Brian, Craig, Steve Kane in the morning. CJ, Mark here. I was invited by a group that believes that Christians have fallen down on their job of praying, asking for God's intervention as the framers did all through the building and initial process of this country, and that Christians have fallen down on their civic duty in terms of participating in elections. And so some folks got together and they have this prayer event, Our Nation campaign, that's going, and you're looking at the screen right there, that's going all over the United States. And they launched it 22 June, Saturday, for 4 hours at the Texas State Capitol. Thank God, no pun intended,
Uh-huh.
they changed the venue from the steps of the State Capitol,
Oh, gosh.
97 degrees and dry heat.
Well, dry heat is better than wet heat.
Yes. To inside in the auditorium, air conditioned, lovely. And it was really a fabulous event. The lady on the left, on the screen left here, Cynthia Skeef, an African American lady who's just a warrior of God, let me tell you. She organized it in conjunction with Dr. Rick Scarborough. Rick Scarborough is one of the country's foremost evangelical pastors who calls it like it is. He's basically rejected the IRS 501c3 standing for his church. He pastors a big church in Austin, but he has been a leader in the evangelical movement. Evangelical means good news. The Christians that truly believe and try to follow the Bible. He's been a leader in that movement for over 20 years, very politically astute, politically involved. This was a non-political event. It was drawing people together of all different denominations. And these are the people that spoke. And some of them that are everybody was noteworthy, but Alice Lenahan, the lady second,
Yay, Alice.
Yeah, second from the left, she was there, and we know Alice very well. She's a community organizer, Women on the Wall.
A positive community organizer.
Great Catholic woman who is doing phenomenal work. Pastor Stephen Broden, next to Alice, screen right to Alice. This guy ran for Congress. He's been on Beck and Fox and everything, and he tore the place up with his talk. And he goes, I know we're not supposed to do politics and we're not supposed to be controversial, but let me tell you something. He goes, we got to reclaim our country. We got to jump in there. You know, he named 5 issues that are devastating America, and they're all attacking the essential fabric. You know, the abortion issue to kill its youngest member, the destroying the concept of traditional marriage that many faiths have viewed man and a woman. You know, he laid out this thing where, folks, if we move in this direction, it's not America, it's the framers and the founders. So, Mark, your point yesterday that, you know, can you imagine George Washington and Thomas Jefferson debating? So let's hear from CJ. Martha here wants to marry Mary. What are your thoughts on that, CJ? What are we going to do here?
I think we should actually... No, we'll just leave it out of the
Martha
Constitution.
got into the liquor again, didn't she?
Martha's tired of George, and she's got eyes for Mary.
Well,
George, you got to stay home more often.
And that Betsy Ross, I'm telling you, she's been out of control.
She's really good with a needle and thread, isn't she?
I mean, really.
Now, what's with Ben? Ben seems a little light in the loafers lately. You know, what's with Ben over there?
You know, he is a Quaker, so.
Yeah. You know, the whole thing is absurd.
And that Unitarian Thomas Jefferson, oh my God.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, it's not like there weren't gay people back then.
Right.
It just wasn't something that everybody was supposed to celebrate.
Well, and here's what I find
and legislate, you know, as a norm. It was not considered.
But also, I don't know. I think also when we talk about the framers, you know, we have to keep in mind they didn't envision what we have become and what we could become. They gave us a starting point for us to build on in a positive way, I think. We don't have to live the way they lived or the way they intended for us to live either, I don't think.
No, but that's why they wrote something down called the
Yes,
Constitution.
a guide.
Yes. Now go back to the screen for a second. Every one of these people spoke and were absolutely amazing in their sphere, and many of them were from Texas, not everyone. Second row, bottom right, Chris Ann Hall. She's an amazing lady.
Yeah.
She is an Army veteran, worked as a Russian linguist. She's an attorney, former prosecutor, and now she's out on her own. She's booked from now to the end of the year, speaking all over the country on the Constitution. She's an expert on the Constitution.
Florida?
She spoke for Danita a couple of months ago. I was with her.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And she is a fireball. She's about 5 feet nothing. And when she speaks, I mean, the room shakes. She is phenomenally gifted. And then they threw in this guy over here, bottom left. I was there, and everybody had a topic. My topic was on leadership. So I had 7 minutes to bring a message forth on leadership. And primarily our words were geared toward the Christian community. 3/4 of America is supposedly Christian. In the state of Florida, folks, listen to this. Yeah, Mark, come here for a minute. Yeah. In the state of Florida, we have 19 million people. 3/4, what's that, about 12 million people are, by census, they list their religion as Christian. Okay, of that 12 million, about 9 or 10 are of voting age. And of the 8 million or so stated on the census Christians in Florida, of the 8 million, about half, 4 million, these are voting age Christians. About half are registered, 4 million, and only about 2 million actually vote.
So a quarter.
About a quarter of the total voting age Christians. And we worked a lot last year. United West, TrentoVision, that's why we started this show.
That's what we started
I
it
got a
for.
question for you. So when the Republican Party, quote unquote, the Republican Party says we need to reach out to Hispanics,
It's so bizarre and stupid. It isn't funny.
I mean,
How about you reach out to the ones who already support you and tell them go vote?
And you're not going to twist
Or-
your principles.
No, you know what
into
it
pretzels.
is? The Republican Party doesn't give them a reason to come out and vote. And apparently they
That's true.
think that people like Barack Obama and Samantha Power and Hillary Clinton and Eric Holder are not reason enough to get up out of their house, get up off the couch, and go vote. Like, you should vote. You should be voting for anybody but them.
Yep.
And
Nope.
why aren't you? Because maybe you're just so fatalistic about the end of the world happening that you see going on around you that you just say to yourself, why bother?
Which is why this event, and there's other events like this, was organized. And my 7 minutes, I directed my words primarily toward Christians who are in a leadership position. And the definition was, once you accept Jesus Christ and you want to follow Christ, you are de facto a leader in your sphere. But I define leadership as somebody getting their salary from being paid to lead other people institutionally. I said, I had 2 points to my message. My message was one main big idea, and I said, today I'm going to explain to you how to fail as a Christian leader. Okay? If you would like to fail as a Christian leader, then you have to follow the 2 points I'm going to lay out. And I laid out 2 points. One was you have to truly believe that the power that you have, you have to truly believe it's in and of yourself, your power, as opposed to power coming from God. And that happens a lot. People move into a leadership position, and I define power as the capability of making people jump when you speak. When you speak and people have to move and do something, you have power. If you believe as a Christian that power is located, the locus is you, then you will fail as a Christian leader. And the second point was, if you believe that that power that you think you have enables you to bypass the principles upon which you're supposed to live, which virtually every politician does, sadly,
Right.
you will fail as a Christian leader. So that was my message, and I kind of summed it up. I went backwards, you know.
No,
How to
that's
fail
good.
as
No,
opposed
that's
to-
great.
That's good.
No, because I saw just the opposite happen today on MSNBC. I was watching Mika Brzezinski, and they said they're talking, and one person brought up the point about the gun issue and how it had nothing to do with what happened in Sandy Hook. She goes, yes, but you know they should have done it just because you know the issue is more important than what the principle is. And we're like,
Okay, yeah.
what are you talking about? I go, it's not the principle is what grounds you in your speech and in your belief and in your politic and in your communication skills, like you did the other night in the Iran and debate with the rabbi.
Yeah. And
we'll
we're
show-
going to
we'll
show
show
that
that.
this week,
Right.
right? Yeah. So I went to Austin, and we had a wonderful time. And with these kind of events, you talk to the others, and several people love the show. They follow the show. They want to come
They
on.
watch
they
it?
Yes.
Wow.
The word
Hi.
is getting out. The word is getting out. They want
Thank
to
you
come
for
on.
watching.
Chris Ann wants to come on. I spoke with her and Stephen Broden and the a few of the others in there. So it was great. Now, what does it all mean? I mean,
Yeah.
what's the
Can
end
I-
game?
Yeah,
What?
can I ask you?
Yes.
Because we've talked about this on the show so many times, going back to the very beginning, that what we need to do is we need to culturally turn this country around, and really the only way to do that is to return to Judeo-Christian values. That's what gets us on the path where we're supposed to be. That's what keeps us where we're supposed to be going. How do we do that? I mean, is that something that you guys talk about?
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
if you don't do that, if you don't have that as your primary mission, then all you're really doing is you're making little tweaks here and little tweaks there. So you get this guy out of office and you get another guy who's almost like him, but just a little bit more like you, but it's not quite there. It doesn't give you the shift that you need.
Once again, going back to the demographics, who's going to shift that? I mean, and that's the reason the Christian vote message has to get out. They have to push that. And I'm not talking from a Christian point of view.
Right.
I'm talking from a Unitarian point of view, and you're not talking from a Christian point of view, CJ. You're talking from a principle point of view.
Cultural point of view.
Right.
And answer CJ's question, Tom.
How do you get Christians to think of themselves as Christians and act as Christians in their daily lives when they're clearly not doing it, or we wouldn't be where we are?
I don't know. I've only spent most of my life trying to figure this out, and
I was just kind of hoping maybe you guys were talking about that, and part of your leadership goal would be to go into your communities and inspire people.
Does the main problem have to deal with the Christian pastors? Have they lost their principal way? Where they're starting to do this outreach thing to the Muslim community? Are they just Christians in name only, or what? Or they have no foundation?
Well, basically all of the above. But for the record, at whatever minutes it is, 25 minutes after 5 o'clock Tuesday, 25 June, Florida. Tom, Trento, CJ, Mark, we're here. We're discussing on WNN 1470 my recent trip to Austin, Texas, the capital of Texas. What a state, really, an unbelievable state. Oh, you know where I went in this? This is a parenthetical aside. We went, I flew into Dallas, and we took a little short journey to Holy Land Foundation.
The Holy Land.
Mosque.
You went to the Holy Land.
Oh, you did?
Went to the Holy Land Mosque, yes.
Wow.
And
they let that still stand,
what the Holy Land,
it's all changed. The name is no longer Holy Land or any of that. It's in Richardson, Texas, right outside of Dallas. And
it's not like the Holy Land in Orlando. This
is not the Holy Land experience. No. I thought, they have one in Texas too. Wait a minute.
Hold on.
This is Musa Marzouk, one of the founders of Hamas, and all his buddies put together basically a front scam charity organization. Give money to poor people worldwide, Muslims, and we're going to feed them and clothe them. And the money was going to the Hamas to kill Jews, $12 million. And the Holy Land Foundation was the name of the charity, 501c3, Holy Land Foundation. Right after 2001, it started getting investigated. And in 2008, 5 of its leaders were found guilty. They are in the Gray Bar Hotel, guests of the federal government for 15 to 65 years, and then over 300 associate organizations, including CARE and ISNA
and Jamal Badawi
and individuals, are unindicted co-conspirators of the Holy Land Foundation terrorism funding conviction. And some of them were unindicted, and they were going to be brought up for indictment. The decision came down in 2008 when George Bush was president, when the current president, Obama, who is the first Muslim president, according to
the Muslims.
According to a guy we're going to have on a little bit.
Siraj Wahhaj.
Siraj Wahhaj,
right? He took the files of 6 or 8 that were going to be indicted and 86th them. The DOJ did. We don't need to proceed with this. We've taken this thing far enough. So you want to know why this government is in bed with the Muslim Brotherhood? It goes back to the origins in 2008. But yes, in Texas, we said, how do we mobilize Christians? Because, Mark, you made a comment a few shows back that even if, Mitt Romney would have gotten 51% of the Hispanic vote, it wouldn't have mattered because he's getting votes in a state that he's going to lose. Because the Hispanic populations are so small, if you get 51% in a blue state, it doesn't matter. He's still going to lose that state. So what's the sense of going after votes and twisting your principles into pretzels when you've got a treasure trove of votes laying out there of people, Christians, who are willing to figure out how to do something to help the country? And that's what we have to do.
Suicidal is what it is, Tom. Because now you have Lindsey Graham coming up on the Capitol Hill, going. Well, we need to pass this bill, to appease the. I'm like, what are you talking about? Just stand by your principles. If you win, you win. If you don't, you don't. Well, then again, I said I'm not
Do you know
on
what?
there.
It's scary when Lindsey Graham stands by his principles, so we might be better off. You know? As it was coming out of your mouth, were you rethinking that?
No.
Well,
Yeah, no, don't do it. Let's see how we can just talk you into doing the right thing. How about that?
What we're talking about right now, folks, on Tuesday, 25 June, WNN 1470, TrentoVision.tv. Be sure to donate securely. We're talking about the fact that the Republicans are tripping over themselves. And by full disclosure, I'm a Republican, not a very happy one. I've been one for many, many years. I think the party has dropped the ball significantly, particularly when it starts abandoning principles. And this whole amnesty deal, there's no principled reason to grant amnesty to people who have violated the law, pushed others aside, and smile all the way to the
free stuff line.
Yeah, to the free stuff line with free phones and free this and free that. And if they do work here, they send money back to their home country, whether it's Mexico or wherever it is. There's no logical, principled reason to say, well, let's just let all of them in, and then we'll figure out how to stop it in the future.
Plus,
that's what we're talking about now, this immigration bill.
And if your thing is jobs, the CBO says it's going to have a net decrease in jobs for everybody in the United States. It's like, well, how does this make sense as a conservative, as a capitalist?
Well, here's how it makes
sense.
These
men and women who were voting for it swore up and down that the first priority for any immigration reform was to secure the border.
Right.
It's not going to happen. There's absolutely no reason and no rush to push a 1,200-page bill that nobody has read through at this moment in time. Because everything else they've done, similarly over the last 4 years, what was it? TARP, $1 billion, supposed to bring us down to 5% unemployment. It's more than double that.
Stimulus out the window.
TARP, stimulus,
green
Obamacare,
investments,
thousands of pages, and hundreds of billions
of dollars. But the dopey Republicans are saying, I heard Karl Rove yesterday, Monday, on Fox. He said,
"Oh, you mean the Karl Rove Network?"
Yeah. He said, he was playing a little coy, but he basically said, we've got to pass this bill and then get this behind us. We've got to try to get this behind us so that we can deal with the Hispanic community, right? And you can't be pandering. You really cannot be pandering, particularly in something as dramatic as this, because once you let 11 million people in, fait accompli.
Well, guess who it's going to put out of work? The Hispanics who are already here.
And
if that's what your big concern is, and shouldn't the concern of any of these men and women be the people who are lawful citizens and residents of the United States of America first? How complicated is that?
I think it was Schumer who said, you know what we're missing here, folks? We let these 10, 11 million, we call them illegal aliens. Now they're called undocumented workers or whatever they're called.
Except they don't even work when they get here.
Schumer said, I believe it was Schumer, said, if we let them in, we're going to have 10 million taxpayers on the rolls, is what he said.
How
do you pay taxes?
That's their solution.
Yeah.
No, we need to increase the base of more taxes to collect, because we can't control our spending. We get to increase the tax base of people paying taxes, which makes no.
First of all, these people aren't paying taxes.
They're not paying taxes.
Second of
now.
all, they're sucking money out of the economy from the real working poor of this country. And third, they are the future base of the Democrat Party, which is the obvious goal in all of this. And nothing that the Republicans can do is gonna change that.
I got an idea. Let's do this. Let's tell Schumer, all right, you got 10 million. Here's what we'll do. We'll do
he's looking for 10 million illegal voters is what he's looking for.
We'll do a 5-year project, all right? And this is the way to do it, is to actually run these almost like a scientific experiment. We'll put the 5 million in your district. They can't leave, Chuck Schumer.
Right.
And we'll track them. You guys have Prism that can tell when I call CJ,
which you never do. You don't write, you don't call, you don't send flowers.
But if I did, you can track that but you
Right.
can't figure out where 5 million people in your own district are. We put them in your district, Chuck Schumer, and you
Which is
track
the whole
them.
state of New York. So
Yeah,
you got
you
lots
room,
of living
you got all
space
kinds
there.
of room. You got all kinds of room. So they stay there, and you track them for 5 years, and you see how many become productive tax-paying citizens, and you see if that group of 5 million cover their own economic weight. And let's see if they can do that in 5 years. Are you up for that, Mr. Schumer?
I
You know?
love that
Yeah.
challenge. I absolutely love
Please
that
don't
challenge.
hold your breath on that
yeah,
challenge.
it'll never
But,
happen.
but here's what we do, folks, for the Christians. And we got 497 days until
Yep.
November 4th, 2014.
I mean, it's not November 6th?
No, it's not. No, it got changed yesterday.
You're going to confuse people right now.
It's a Democrat
They're
outreach.
booking their holidays already,
it's my
and they're
Democrat
not.
outreach
Yeah.
program. Vote November 6th, all Democrats.
See, it moves. The day moves, the number. It goes backwards. It was 6th. But 497 days until November 14th. And we here at the United West, TrentoVision, we are now revolutionaries that want to pick up weapons and go fight the government in the street. That's insanity, okay? The way you win these cultural battles is we have a system of law. You follow the laws, and you go beat them at the ballot box. Yes, the other side cheats. We have to cheat more. That's what we have to do. We have to get in cheaters. That's what we have to do. If our ethics would allow that, I still probably wouldn't do that because it's just a failing thing. No, we don't.
Well,
we
our
don't-
cultural ethics let us do it. It's our personal morality that stops us at this
Thank
point.
God.
Damn personal morality.
Thank God we're constrained.
I
by
hate
the-
it when my morality
Morality
gets in the way of my happiness and
Thank
convenience, don't you?
Thank God we're constrained by the 10 Commandments, or at least about 7 of them.
Well, you guys are.
At least 7 of them, right? But no, what we're going to do on this show is we're going to do a lot of work on mobilizing the Christian community. It's one that I know very, very well. And it's to answer your question on point, Mark, there's a systemic problem. When I was in seminary, when you go to seminary to study, you have a bachelor's, now you're doing your graduate degree work, and you can take a path that's a scholarly path to become a writer.
Right.
You can take a communications path or theology, like I did theology, to be engaged in the cultural process as an activist. You can become a missionary and go to Africa or someplace and live there for 30 years. Or you can take a Master of Divinity, MDiv, which is to become a pastor. My observations all these years and while I was in school, those individuals that became a pastor did not have a fighting spirit. They did not have a confrontational attitude.
Right.
They were pastoral. Their heart was to lick the wounds of the injured, to reach out to the dying and those hurt, and to be a peacemaker within the church. So
Not warriors.
no, they were not cultural warriors. They were church doctors, if you will.
They're Unitarian.
Which is the definition of a pastor. It's someone who helps the flock. So systemically, the definition of an individual that's leading a group that you want to confront culture is not the type of individual that's made to confront the culture. I ran into this.
Interesting.
Yeah, I ran
that's
into this all through seminary because I ran an activism organization while I was teaching at the seminary.
Well, just to not interrupt you, your seminary that you're talking about, I mean, where you went to school is like the Harvard.
It was a very good school.
Moody Bible. So you're not talking about from the
No, Moody was the Bible school thing for the bachelor's. Seminary was in Denver.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is,
it was a very good one. Yes.
I mean, you're not talking from this.
No, these are not
from,
little Mickey Mouse things. No, serious schools. No, these are serious schools, and so the inherent problem is the nature of the position, and now we turn to these guys who for 25 years have been leading a church. For 25 years they've been leading a church. And we turn to them and say, what the hell are you doing? The world is blowing up outside your doors. Get out there and fight the battle.
Right.
They have never trained that way. They don't think that way. They're not made that way.
Right.
So how do we get them? How do we mobilize them?
Are they more interested in like growing their congregations or some other concerns?
Two things happen when they roll out. If they're an effective communicator, they're there. There's a real purity of heart as to when these guys go and get their first church and all of that, and they truly want to minister to people, help build families, counsel, all of that. If they're effective speakers, it grows and grows and grows. As it grows, and your monthly nut increases,
Right.
Many pastors fine-tune their message to be less controversial and more emotional.
To grow the
God loves you and we love you and everything. Not, this abortion thing is something else, and I want everybody in the corner tomorrow. You lose 50 people, $100 a person, $5,000. Now your numbers are off, right?
Right.
So there's a real cost-benefit ratio to the amount of controversy you. Now the people that used to do this, that were experts. Jerry Falwell was as controversial as he may have been.
Yeah.
He ministered to his people, but he also told his people, "We're in a war. We're fighting about it." Down here in Florida was D. James Kennedy,
right,
at the big Coral Ridge Church in Fort Lauderdale. He was phenomenal.
Yeah,
we don't have those guys anymore.
No. Thank goodness we have all his writings and the people he influenced through his teachings. But
so what do we do? Well, what we got to do is.
Can I add one thing?
Yes.
As an outsider to what it looks like to me.
I'm on the outside.
I'm on the outside, from the outside looking in.
I don't want to be.
It's not just cultural from the leadership of these pastors, because the churches that I've been to, they hardly talk about what's in the Bible at all. I didn't learn anything about Christianity while I was there. I heard Jesus a lot, but nothing in relation to any life changes that I would make from that. And really the whole thing seemed very watered down, and there was a conscious effort to make it more informal, more easygoing. I saw people in church wearing shorts and tank tops. I can't even begin to imagine that you would have seen that 20 or 30 years ago. And that's just this let anything go, let anything happen, just to get people to come in. But if you don't teach them anything while they're there, even about their own religion, never mind the culture, then what are they coming back for?
Yeah, that's a catch-22, the whole temporary
Tom,
church movement.
Honestly,
but no, your observations are.
I think
are
I
accurate.
get more out of listening to you.
Yeah.
And listening to other people.
O'Neill Dozier, he's a guy who speaks truth to power.
And people like that. And that's, to be quite honest with you, that's one of the reasons I do not go to church, is because I do not find that leadership inside there that it says, hey, this is the guy who I want to follow. And it's very, very hard. And, I try to live it every day, and like a lot of people do, but it's there's something missing inside the church structure that just isn't there.
Because if you go to the services, you don't get a sense of why am I here? Why am I a Christian?
I find
I don't walk away knowing anything about it.
I find a lot more synagogues who are on the left who have some faux principle that they fight for than the Christians.
That we usually disagree with, but at least they're fighting for something.
Even the Muslims, at least they're dedicated.
You got it wrong, but at least you had a reason why you came today.
Well, what we're going to do to sum this section up, because this is going to be a significant piece of our work over 497
I'm sorry.
days.
That's why I wanted to.
What we're going to do.
How's that list coming along?
My experience, which is my experience, which is extensive in mobilizing churches. I took part in 1984 in mobilizing 1 million people in the state of Colorado, hundreds and hundreds of churches. And the way we have to do it now is not to go through the front door, because we don't even know where the front door is.
Because they won't let you in.
They won't let you in. We don't even know where it is anymore. You go here, you go there.
Yeah.
Well, what we have to do is, and we will use our communication capability through the show and the radio and all of our stuff, we have to find insurgents in targeted churches.
Ooh, there's a fun project. I didn't get the memo on that.
Yeah,
this is really good.
Yeah.
We have to target churches. For instance, let's say Alan West chooses to run again in his district up in 19, I think it is, in Port St. Lucie.
Right.
Okay. What we have to do, because he only lost
I
by
think that's 25,000
votes.
25?
No. That's it.
It's 19. The new number was 19.
The new number was 19.
His old number
the old
was
one was
22.
22. Yeah.
That
That was us.
Yeah. What we have to do is go look at that district, and all this data exists. All this information is there, and we have to say, okay, in order to get that extra 1,000 votes, we've got to mobilize 6,000 Christians,
Right.
and they reside in these 14 churches right here in his district.
Right.
We have to find an insurgent in each one of those churches who will become our representative educationally to bring the information into the church, to educate people, to understand their civic, Christian, and biblical responsibility to participate in determining which direction society goes.
And it's not necessarily the pastor that you're talking about. You're talking about an individual inside the church.
Not the pastor.
Not the pastor.
It's an insurgent, a person that is our spy in the church, and he communicates our information. Now, in the real world,
Well, that's a great idea, actually, because the pastors are going to be weak, but the pastors will follow what the flock is.
exactly. Now,
The flock,
If the person
flock
has
will lead, but
influence over the committee that pays the pastor's salary, he will.
well, or
The
the
flock
person
is the
has to
pastor.
organize about 5 or 10 people, and a couple of the leading people in the church, and they're all there. They're there with us. We know that. It's just not, it's an organization issue. It's not a you start from the bottom thing. The people that want to fight the battles are in these churches. The pastors aren't leading. We have to lead by going in the back door, organizing this, then tying them into the show, doing some information, and then show them how to bring the pastor along.
Right.
And what do we want? We want voter registration in churches, which is completely legal, starting tomorrow. Get people registered.
Yeah, why wait?
And
Really?
and most Christians vote from report cards on candidates. Very few people
Voter
do
cards.
what we do.
voter cards.
Yeah, they're voter report cards. Then very few people have the expertise and the knowledge and all the stuff we do. So and even me, I mean, if it's an obscure judge somewhere, I don't have time to look into all that. I'll get a card from an organization I trust. They've done the evaluation and they say these two guys, we give them an A rating.
Right.
So you trust the organization. You go, I'm going to vote for them. All that has to be done are these cards have to be generated. Now we got a problem. Generated, and 80% of the Christians will vote off of these cards because they trust the people creating the card. Here's the problem. Well, we can do all of that. We
Right.
can
Yeah.
do the organization. Who's going to run for office? That's the problem.
That's the problem.
Well, if you got someone like Alan West.
Well, if it's Alan, yeah, that's a different
Oh,
story. But he's a rare exception.
Right.
We don't have people that can really occupy
And
these
it-
positions at this point.
And as much as there's ballyhooed about Romney and his Mormonism, he just wasn't an inspiring person for the Christian community.
Okay, but also I think you guys are talking about national positions.
No. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, you're talking about national positions at the local level.
That's true.
If you
That's
want to
how
get
they're
into,
developed, and that's how they're brought up throughout.
if
the
you want to
system,
bring the right people into county government, into the school board system, into the water district management, whatever it is, that's where the culture battle starts.
And actually, the Muslims realize that way too much. They go after the county seats, the school
It's easy
boards.
pickings.
It's easy
It's
pickings.
Remember
easy
in Long Island,
pickings.
Islamic Center
Who
in
the
Long
heck?
Island?
Who the heck watches the
Human Rights
Human Rights
Commission.
Commission of their county?
Or the-
Nobody.
or the
And what's it
county
stacked with?
commission.
Communists,
Leftists,
leftists, socialists,
anarchists.
And
Mu-
that's where you can make the biggest impact.
Muslim
Is
apologists.
on those county commissions.
Exactly.
And that's where you develop and nurture and bring up people throughout the ranks.
I think the first step when you're talking about going into these churches as an insurgent is not to present them with the issue of
the macro.
the macro that you're talking about. I think you have to bring it down even further and say, here's where we are culturally. Here's where we need to go. Here's how we can get there. I think you have to get people to see how bad it really is, because people are so involved in their own lives, taking care of their families, worrying about work. How are they going to do
That's what
this?
happens,
Take the
yeah.
kids to soccer. I mean, it's a million different things. It's almost like the rest of the world is out there for them, and they don't realize how it's hitting them and how it's hitting their kids. And what they need to do now, they need to stop it now. I think you have to get them to want to be revolutionaries before you hit them with anything else. Then you give them the steps to
Amen.
do it.
Amen, sister. And guess who our core group of insurgent revolutionary individuals that we can work with in churches. Guess who they are? They're out there in a block right now, path of least resistance. We can go to this block, talk to the block, and say, would you like to be our representative in a church to bring information, cultural information, and assist your church in taking a stand on the issues and the concerns of the day? Guess what group of people are sitting there ready to go? Just need a little organization.
Hispanics.
Tea Party.
Tea Party.
I was teasing.
And oh, by the way, Tea Party community, Tim Saletti's doing a phenomenal job. They have a huge plan for marketing to get to double, triple the size of Tea Party community. Everybody needs to be signing up. Just doing the marketing through Tea Party community. If we push that real hard and said we're looking for United West representatives, that we will provide information, and you start a little study group in there, and whatever we want to communicate. You think we can get any people from Tea Party community that would be interested?
I think we could get them from all over the country.
Yep. So that's going to be our community organizing. That's what we discussed in Texas, and while we're driving hours and hours and hours from Dallas. I didn't realize Dallas to Austin is like 4 hours.
I just thought you went up to get your God on or something like that. I didn't know.
No, this was a planning. This was a a revolutionary meeting with a lot of interesting folks.
That's so cute.
So it was good. It was good. Get your God on.
Get your God on.
I do that sitting on the beach smoking a cigar.
I do it every day.
I haven't had a cigar in like 2 weeks. I've been fighting this cold, but I'm better today. 25 June. I may have to fire one up.
It's going to be smelly in the bunker later.
Yeah,
fire one up.
You need to get your flu shot if you haven't gotten it. There's a nasty one going around.
I got mine. I get it every year.
497 days.
Oh, so that's where I was.
CJ, it didn't turn out so good.
The what?
What's that?
I've been through this countdown day thing. It didn't turn out so good last time.
Yeah, remember we did
Yeah,
last
I remember
time.
that.
It'll be different this time. All right, we got 5:51, 51 minutes after 5 o'clock in the afternoon on, what is it, Tuesday, did I say?
Tuesday, the 25th of June.
CJ, how's that so schedule coming along?
The who? What schedule? How's the weather?
Well, so far we covered one out of
See these things?
2, 3, 4, 5,
we don't have a
6,
teleprompter.
7.
That's right.
Yeah, we had 7 again.
Yep.
But we have one. We have one covered.
Should we cover
But actually, you know,
we got to cover the care thing.
Actually, I shouldn't say we have one covered because it wasn't on the list for today. It was
We-
a carryover from yesterday.
We need a 3-hour show. We need a 3-hour show. You know what we'll do?
Can we do the care thing or not?
Tomorrow, Wednesday. How much time is there? No, we can. Let's introduce Jonathan.
Yeah, because we had him on the show the other day.
I think that's good. Yeah. Why don't you introduce the concept and show the video, and we'll.
Well,
touch
we have
base.
Jonathan Matuzis. Did I pronounce his name right?
No,
Matuzis.
Massachusetts.
yeah.
And he was the professor we had on the show the other day, talking about his talk about the truthfulness of his Islamic,
Terrorism and communication.
Well, guess who
That
decided
is a textbook for a course that he teaches.
But the reason he was on is because the group that
because a Republican
the
club
Republicans-
in Pinellas County canceled his speaking
engagement because somebody got to them and said this guy's anti-Muslim.
Yeah.
So the Pinellas County, which is
St. Petersburg,
which is the Ahmed Badir reigning area over there, Tampa St. Pete, canceled Professor Jonathan Matuzis' speaking engagement. A bunch of patriots jumped in, got a little room
Found
at the
another
Golden
venue.
Corral,
Yep.
and packed the place out.
We have to play this video now.
But
Okay.
right after that,
We have to play the video now.
yeah, right after that though, the bad guys went after him.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what this video
That's
is
what
about.
this video is about.
That's
Watch
what
this.
this
So
video.
watch the news video here.
Watch it now.
Right now.
Complain against this UCF professor.
Now you
Lectures spark hatred towards Muslims.
Why do so many Muslims, relative to other religions, want to kill us?
Tonight, that professor told us he sees nothing wrong with the way he teaches. Professor Jonathan Matusitz teaches a class called Terrorism and Communication.
Now the Council on American Islamic Relations, or CARE, says he makes Islamic societies out to be, quote, hate-filled terrorist factories. Channel 9's Ryan Hughes is live at the UCF campus in Sanford. And Ryan, that group claims this professor also supports an anti-Muslim hate group.
That's right, Marty. It says he is a member of a group called ACT, which is against Muslims, but he told me late today that he has simply spoken to members of that group in the past. This is a copy of a letter sent to the University of Central Florida asking UCF to review this professor's teachings. This University of Central Florida professor rarely holds back in his lectures.
So why? Why do so many Muslims, relative to other religions, want to kill us? The answer is easy. Very easy, 7 letters. Culture.
A video of Dr. Jonathan Matusitz was posted on YouTube.
Imagine that symbolic interaction is from the cradle until you're an adult. Teaches you to hate.
His strong language is under scrutiny. The Council on American Islamic Relations just sent a letter to UCF that says his teachings include inaccurate information, anti-Muslim bigotry, and hostility in the form of hate speech toward Islam and Muslims.
They've never been in my classes. They don't know the content of my classes.
The professor who teaches terrorism and communication and wrote this book on it told me he backs all his lectures with one thing: statistics.
Islam plays a big role in terrorism, just percentage-wise. I think they're wrong. I think they're afraid of truth-tellers, and they want to stifle free speech.
Students we talked to are open to free thoughts and ideas in the classroom.
As long as they're not violating anything, it's a freedom of speech.
I feel like people definitely do have the right to free speech.
Which is why this professor isn't backing down.
Do you stand by everything you say in your classes?
Yeah.
That's a stupid question.
Why would I make a claim that I don't believe in?
Now, a UCF spokesman told me by email that this professor certainly has the right to free speech, but the university does not necessarily endorse or support his views in the classroom. Live at UCF in Sanford in Seminole County, Ryan Hughes, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
We want to know what you think about this professor's comments. You can join the conversation at facebook.com/WFTV. We've also included a link to the complaint letter sent to UCF, and you can read it for yourself.
Yeah, and you can hit your head over with a hammer, too, if you want to. Oh, man.
Should we reestablish for the listeners and viewers who care is?
Yes.
The Council on American Islamic Racist.
Yeah.
American Islamic what?
Very racist.
Racist?
Yeah, because everything's a oh, you're racist, you're racist, you're racist. If you say
but
anything.
Who are they? They're the American arm of Hamas.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, not by
Holy Land Foundation.
Let's get the.
Let's go back to the beginning.
Let's get the name right. Council, because Mark did a facetious acronym. CAIR, CARE, Council on American Islamic Relations. They're supposed to be the ACLU for the Muslim world, a civil rights organization. That's what they're supposed to be. Now, what are they? So what does that mean?
4, 3.
Are we going?
No, I got a minute and 11 left.
Okay.
I got it. No. And 30 more than this, right?
No, you're done.
We're done. Thank you for listening and watching. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.
Stay tuned for tomorrow when we tell you all about Jonathan Matusitz.
Maybe or maybe not.
Or maybe not.